Hi, I'm Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you the first 6 decks that had the biggest impact on my spiritual journey, and each one had basically propelled me a little bit further on my path. It started after I had 2 profound psychic readings starting at 19 and then like my early 20s. After I had those, I knew I wanted to pursue this. I wanted to figure it out. I wanted to learn how to read. And what is funny about the whole situation is neither one of those psychics read with cards. One read in a trance state, one read with regular playing cards. But for some reason, I was bound and determined to read with tarot. And that's when I picked up this deck that everybody knows with the plaid style backs. And that is the traditional Rider Tarot. This deck cost me $14 back in like 1999. Well, yes, I had it in my head that if I was going to be a reader, I needed to read with tarot because that's just how I thought it was supposed to be. And what I was really trying to do is I was trying to figure out why I was already knowing the things I was knowing and why I was, experiencing spirit and having these prophetic dreams and so on. That was really the whole reason behind it after those 2 readings. So I brought this home and I tried to read with it with a little white book. Didn't know anybody who believed in any of this stuff. I had to keep it all hush hush. So I didn't really know what I was doing. And I'm going to be honest, tarot scared me to death. I didn't understand that there was no bad cards, I just thought there was the good cards and the bad cards. And like I said, I didn't have another book. I didn't feel safe reading these cards, which is old programming, that you're taught because I grew up in the church. And I started trying to do readings with these, and they were pretty accurate, and it scared me because the readings were so accurate. Just going off what the little white book was, it terrified me. And I didn't know enough to go further and understand the deeper meanings. And, so anytime, I probably won't be able to find it now, but anytime death, the devil, or the tower came up in a reading, I was terrified and didn't even want to read it. I know, ridiculous, but you have to realize this is where I started. So I stepped away. So then the next deck, because I wasn't, well, if I can get a hold of the cards, I wasn't ready to give up on any of this. But I wasn't comfortable reading tarot. So I decided to go this route. And I thought healing with the Angels Oracle cards. Gentle, it's angelic energy. Like I said, I have a church background, so I'm comfortable in that angel energy, comfortable dealing and talking with and, prayers and all that stuff. Okay. And this is by Doreen Virtue, of course. And I loved it. I loved everything about this deck. I still love this deck. And we'll pull it out every now and then. I even like the gaudy borders around each of the cards. But this deck made me feel comfortable. It gave me that security. It was that blanket that said, you can do this and I'm going to help you kind of energy to it. And so I was still doing readings, but I had put the tarot away and it was just solely focused now on angel energy. And then I fell down the Doreen Virtue rabbit hole and I bought, I think, almost all her decks. I think there's only a very small handful of decks, maybe 3, 4 or so of hers that I don't own. And it has nothing to do with her. It had to do with the angel energy that I was drawn to, because this energy was comforting to me. This energy spoke to me. This energy helped me to believe in myself. And that's what I needed. I needed a deck that was going to help me believe in myself. Even though these cards were giving me the answers that were accurate, it was too scary. And this energy was not. This was comforting. Like I said, that blanket that you wrap around you. So I worked heavily with angels. Matter of fact, I worked specifically with Archangel Michael for several years. Understanding his energy, I knew exactly when it was in my presence. I knew when a message was coming through, and it made me feel comfortable with my intuition. Through his energy, I was also introduced to spirit guide energy. And because I was coming from it, from this calming and gentle and what I felt loving place of this angelic realm, I felt very comfortable with spirit guide energy. I just saw it as an extension of these other loving beings. So speaking of archangels, I had already was engrossed in automatic writing, and like kind of what I would do is I may, you know, pull this card, blessings, and then I would intuitively jot down how I felt, but then I would let my hand flow and I would just see whatever message would come through organically through automatic writing as my message. I wasn't going to the guidebook anymore. So in that turn, I decided that I wanted to get to know more archangels and work with more archangel energy. So I picked up her Archangel Oracle cards, and I think this came out in 2004. I love this deck, and I wish, I know Radley Valentine has several angel decks on his Angel Tarot, and I have his new Angel and Aura, and that I want this deck from him. I wish he would remake a deck like this in his viewpoint, specifically an oracle, specifically geared to each archangel. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. That's really what I hope he comes out with eventually. So this is where I started exploring other archangel energy, which as I go through each one of these decks, another door and another door, and I'm moving further down my pathway of this journey that I'm on. I love this deck so much. It's another one that sits in my cabinet with this Healing of the Angels or Healing with the Angels deck. Especially if I want to specifically work with a certain archangel. I spend a lot of time automatic writing with these archangels. I have notebooks full of that, and it was this deck and that automatic writing back and forth that really catapulted my intuition and my spirit work. I had learned through automatic writing with some of my archangels, or these archangels, about putting guardians in place and different things like that before I had opened up to the other side and letting spirits talk to me. So this deck is kind of invaluable to me, and I love it dearly. Now I'm moving past this whole light work style decks, because while they serve their purpose, and they still have a purpose in my practice, I started needing something more. I knew I needed to start exploring more of the shadow side of readings, and everything is not going to be happy, lucky, light washed in readings, and I know that. And while I was dipping my toe in and out of different tarot decks at the time, while all this is going on, like I had bought the Robin Wood and I was using that a little bit, and I had bought the Spiral Tarot and, you know, was playing around with that. And I even had picked up the Radiant Rider-Waite and was playing with those cards for a while. I was still constantly gravitating back towards angelic angel energy, spirit guide energy. I knew that I needed to progress on to, like I said, a more shadow, the aspects of the readings. And this is the Enchanted Map, but this is the new version. This is the Enchanted Map Oracle cards by Colette Baron Reid, and I had the original. I still have it, and I use that deck to death because this is what helped me recognize and understand the shadow aspect of readings. And I just fell in love with this deck, and it made me unafraid to explore like the storm fields of a reading, and to explore the sadness within a reading, and so on. Because this was the first deck besides some of the tarot. It was the first oracle deck that I had that actually showed the reversed meanings to the cards, to take you even deeper into the aspects of the cards. So it got me comfortable in those reversals, and it got me comfortable, like I said, in the shadow. I just adore I adore this deck, the imagery and everything on it. I wasn't even afraid of what the darker, if you want to call them, darker cards of this deck were, because it just spoke to me in a different way. I was ready to get back into tarot, but every time I had tried doing anything with the tarot, there was still somehow that underlying fear to all of it. I don't know why. I don't know where that even came from. That I didn't really want to explore it the way that I needed to or should explore it. But the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck by John Holland had come out, but it didn't have the chords to it. It stops at card 9 in the minors, and I was okay with that. This is also, I was just starting to understand and learn about chakras also, so I had appreciated that there was chakra cards that came in this deck. This is the deck that opened the door to my love of tarot. And I know I don't like this deck because it isn't exactly tarot, because it's an oracle and it's missing part of the structure of it. And they, from what the complaints I've heard is the colorization on the minors, which I'll talk about. So a lot of things I heard about this deck was the conflict between the colorization on the minors that doesn't match the element colors, because they have blue for swords, but I believe that John Holland put the colors on there to match the chakra associated colors. So swords are our thoughts, so he did the indigo color for the third eye. But it was these cards and the wording on these cards that helped me get a grasp of what the tarot was. Is there more to it? Absolutely. But when you've got someone who is not comfortable working with the Rider-Waite system at all, and now I have these, and these are clicking, and I'm understanding, and the words are making sense, and the write-up in the book is making sense to me, I began to feel comfortable with the system, even though it's only a portion of the system. I began to feel comfortable. I read with this deck for a while, a couple years, maybe 3 years. I mean, you could see how much wear and tear this deck has, because it was everything I needed. It was exactly what I needed to take that fear away from me completely in reading other systems and being aware that I can read another system without thinking that my life was going to fall apart reading those cards. It was with this deck, and once I got involved with Colette's decks, that I started taking on paid clients. So that really opened up the door to that also, and that was all the way back in 2010. Yeah, because it's going to be 14 years. 2010 that I started taking on paid clients. So now I have the door open to tarot, and I am ready to dive back in. And I tried again with this deck, but it was a no-go. And so I ended up finding this in the local bookstore, the Gilded Tarot Royale by Ciro Marchetti, text by Barbara Moore. This is the new version. This is the borderless version. The one that I used for a very, very long time was the older style version with the borders on it. I still pull this deck out to read. This deck has me in love with Ciro Marchetti's, Marchetti, I'm not sure, art style. But funny enough, saying that, this is the only deck of his that I own. This is it. I have looked at the other ones and almost purchased some of them, but just thought no, because this is the one that I tend to go for. Even though I think I am going to pick up that, his new one that's coming out mass market, the Mystic Palette, I believe it's called. I know it's already out there, indie version of it, but I'm going to get it once it's released by Llewellyn. The only thing is I can't decide between the colored version or picking up that muted sepia tone version, and I'm not going to pick up both. So I'm really drawn towards the color, so that's probably what I'll go with. But this deck, it just spoke to me on a whole nother level. So I would never want this deck out of my practice ever. But yeah, everything about this is like the art style I like. This is the imagery I like. It could take me into these landscapes. I could see more than just the traditional meaning behind these cards also, you know, which gave me more confidence in my readings, helped propel me, you know, to go deeper and trust my intuition with this deck. I could probably go on and on and on about how this deck speaks to me and how much I love it. So these are the decks that had a profound impact on my spiritual journey. And I will be completely honest and say, if it was not for discovering these angel oracles and working with those, and then this, the Psychic Tarot Oracle, and then Ciro's deck of the Gilded Tarot, I don't know if I would be where I'm at. They really did shape my practice and gave me the confidence and helped me develop my intuition and helped me feel comfortable in working with this outer realm, with this realm of spirits, the realm of angels, my spirit guides, any of that divine being realm. It gave me comfort in working with that and understanding it. It helped me understand myself. It helped me understand why I know what I know, and to pass that on to others, I guess. So I would love to hear in the comments below, what are the decks that really shaped your spiritual practice, that made some sort of impact on you, that changed your practice completely, or helped further you down the road in your spiritual journey, or whatever you would like to share. I would really be interested in hearing your stories. So thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you being here. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps my channel be seen. And if you want to see more content from me, don't forget to subscribe. And until I see you next time, bye.